Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and tonight we're on the red carpet for the premiere of HBO's new miniseries, Show Me a Hero. We'll be bringing you interviews with the star Oscar Isaac and the entire cast, as well as the creators, David Simon, director Paul Haggis, and more, so get ready for a great night behind the velvet rope. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, the man of the hour, Oscar Isaac. I was up till 3 a.m. watching this. I watched all 6 episodes. It was incredible.
You crammed.
I did cram.
Okay.
His story, Nick's story, such a fascinating story, and it's so relevant today. Talk to me about, A, what drew you to this, but also telling this incredible and powerful story.
Well, I remember Paul, when I first met with Paul, he said, I want you to do this because I have no idea how you would do it. And that's always a great challenge for an actor when someone throws the gauntlet down like that. So I didn't know how I would do it. And I saw footage of him, I saw tapes of him, and he just broke my heart because I saw someone that was in over his head and trying to do the right thing but not knowing quite how to do it. And I get drawn to stories of regular people in extraordinary circumstances.
It's such a brilliant, brilliant look at all sides of how desegregation can affect the neighborhood. Talking about telling this powerful story, it really was just remarkable to see.
Talk to them.
David?
Talk to them.
Here's what happened. David and Bill brought me a script that was brilliant. It was the truth. My job was just to make it look like and feel like the truth. And that's what I endeavored to do. But it came from, I signed on because of these guys. I think I was proven right. It's a wonderful story, a deeply touching story that doesn't try to pander to any one side. It doesn't try to tell a simple story. So.
Yeah, I think ultimately there's this beautiful Shakespearean tragedy of Nick Wasicsko that's embedded in an issue. So you get to do two things. You get to drive the story with something that's about character and that is augmented by all these other stories of how this fight affected everybody in this place called Yonkers. But also you get to argue something. And we get a lot of fun out of like doing entertainments, and there's nothing wrong with entertaining people, and that's 90% of what our job is. But when the 10% kicks in and you actually can contribute to the argument that needs to happen, and race and the idea of a shared society is an argument that has to happen now. And we're seeing that all over the country. It's a good thing.
The relationship with you and Oscar, it's incredible because Oscar really experiences this enormous fall from grace as a mayor to essentially killing himself, but you're supportive the whole time. Talk to me about building that relationship with him.
Well, I worked very closely with the real Nick Wasicsko. And one of the things she told me was I was his cheerleader. And even though I could get mad, that would only last for 2 seconds. I was there to cheer him up and bring him up because that's what people that love people do. So that was always my goal. We're going through a shitty situation. I have to keep this guy standing on his feet. And I think we worked really closely with Oscar to try and bring that relationship to screen because they did love each other so much.
Talk to me about telling this wonderful story.
Well, it's a hard story to tell, but it's a story that we're living, unfortunately, still living today. It's just that, we hope that everybody will understand that the dialogue must continue, that we have a moral obligation to learn about everybody that lives, that we have to live within this country, and hopefully it will spread into the world because the same problem that we end up having trying to dialogue with each other is the problem that we're having trying to dialogue in the world. So until we can get it straight and be willing to meet each other, to know that everybody, human beings want the same thing in life. It's not just the American dream, it's the dream of a better life in the world.
It's so fascinating to see your character and how she grows from being essentially a drug addict to wanting to do something better for the community. Talk to me about telling the story and building that character.
Well, first of all, I was just really drawn to her spirit. I knew that she was at heart an idealist. She was really someone with a dream, and in a way that dream, it's so crippling at the beginning of her, at that point in her story. It's crippling that and she's in such a terrible environment as well. It's important to say that, that the drugs do take a toll in her life, and then she comes out sort of fighting for that dream and fighting for that ideal that she has in her spirit. And for me, it was a dream to play her, really, to play someone that heroic.
I watched it all night last night. Incredible stuff, man. So all 6, yes.
I haven't seen all 6.
I know, everyone keeps telling me that. It's amazing.
Oh, we'll like ring you. Give me the info.
It's so powerful. Talk to me about telling this story.
I don't know if you have better storytellers in Hollywood right now for my personal taste. It's subjective, I get it. But if you want fantasy and imagination, I'll go Michel Gondry. If you want, kind of realism, there's no better team than this guy and David. And to have them ask me to help them tell it, well, you can imagine what that feels like. And then to go and actually do it, and it clicks, and you have wonderful actors. I mean, doing scenes with Oscar is like playing catch with the most beautiful, worked-in baseball gloves. You know when you get your baseball glove, it's all stiff, and then you get those ones that are like, oh, that's amazing. It's like playing catch with someone with those types of gloves. So, yeah, it's an honor.
This ensemble cast, to see the sides of desegregation shown from all sides, the political side, the side of the people living it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because I think it's important to see the good and the bad and the ugly from all of the various sides.
It is. And it's funny because I feel they're in the show, they're anti-heroes, but some people are just flawed. They're really trying to fight for the right thing or for what they think is the right thing. They just happen to have sometimes the wrong perspective or approach it the wrong way, and it just makes them very human. However, we also see the segregation of the town. And until we don't see the human perspective, the uniquely human perspective that Davy and Bill Zorzi, so well have written, it just seems like a very racist place until we start seeing it. Like, I just feel like it's what we're going through right now. We have to surpass so many obstacles in our society right now, and it's mostly because we don't know each other. We don't understand the other person is also a human being, and they're just going through struggles.
And the beauty of this project is we get to see what happens with desegregation from both sides, the political side, but also from the side of the people dealing with it.
Yes.
And you're one of those stories. Getting into a story like that as an actress, talk to me about it.
Well, growing up in East New York, Brooklyn, I felt like her voice was people that I've heard I've heard when I went to school, I've heard around the corner at the corner store. So I knew that I had an important job, and to be able to tap into what my experiences was, to be able to bring this character to life. So how did I relate to Billy? How was she different from me? How were we the same? And what music would actually amp me up to access those feelings?
This could happen today. That's what blew my mind.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to a couple of the other interviewers. What's the old cliche? Everything changes and nothing changes. This is an old story. People protect what they have, and new people want to have what other people have. They don't want to take it. They just would like to participate. And every generation, certainly in America, that's what the battles are about. New people move in, whether it's the immigrant story also. There's so many similar stories that are playing over and over and over and over.
I didn't realize just how powerful it would be. Talk to me about this.
I wish it wasn't so timely, but it is, and I think it's an important piece out there right now, and who better to bring it to you than David Simon and Paul Haggis, and it was a dream to be on the set, and yeah, it was a pretty great production.
You can't ask for a better ensemble cast, can you?
No, it's got everybody, and yeah, it was a thrill. It was a thrill, yeah.
It's great to see the scenes between you and Oscar, because obviously you play brothers.
Yeah.
And in many ways you're the balancing act for him as he tries to figure out his life. Talk to me about working with Oscar. He's one of the best in the business right now.
Yeah. Working with Oscar is. I told him, I walked up to him afterwards and I apologized. I said maybe I was like staring at you when we were on set, because I just like watching you, not even just act, but just like the way that you operate on set, because he's incredibly talented, but he's also, he's a professional. He works hard and he's prepared and he comes in and he does his job. And I think that's the reason he's had
a career that's just now rocketing straight up. And he's not scared to serve a story. He doesn't need to be a rock star. He can just serve a story and be an actor.
To see Oscar Isaac's journey and also to see desegregation from all sides was incredible. Talk to me about writing this story.
In a sense, it was easier to put it down on paper than it was to film it. And Paul Haggis, who was the director, and Andre, who was our DP, made that. And the hundreds of people literally in the cast and crew made that a reality. Writing it was, people have asked me, I've been battered by, or it's sort of like been a battery of questions. What drew me to it initially was the journey of the mayor, of the young mayor, because I had been a political reporter at the Sun in Baltimore, and but ultimately I did fall in love with the women who made these journeys from the housing projects to the townhouses, and I guess it's those women that I hope that we've done justice to.